We've all been there. That cringe-worthy moment, that awkward silence, that feeling of wanting the earth to just swallow you whole. We squirm. We blush. We wish we could disappear. But what if I told you that embracing those awkward, uncomfortable moments is actually the key to unlocking your full potential? Yeah, you heard me right. Awkwardness might just be your superpower. The truth is, most of us are programmed to avoid discomfort. We are hardwired to seek safety and security. We stay in our comfort zones, sticking to what we know, what feels familiar and predictable. But here's the problem. By constantly avoiding discomfort, we're actually limiting our growth. We're missing out on incredible experiences, and we're holding ourselves back from becoming the best, most fulfilled versions of ourselves. In this video, I'm going to give you the ultimate guide to embracing discomfort. We'll dive deep into the science behind why it's so powerful. I'll share practical, actionable tips for stepping outside your comfort zone that you can start using today. And because I believe in walking the walk, I'll even share my own personal journey with a 30-day discomfort challenge. The good, the bad, and the very awkward. We've got a lot to cover. We'll explore the neuroscience of discomfort, break down the different types of discomfort you might encounter. I'll share the raw and real details of my challenge, and then we'll get into those practical strategies. Finally, we'll look at the incredible long-term benefits you can expect when you make embracing awkwardness a habit. So get ready to get uncomfortable, because it's time to unlock a whole new level of growth. Let's start with the basics. Your comfort zone. Think of it as your personal bubble of familiarity. It's where things feel safe, predictable, and low stress. There's nothing inherently wrong with your comfort zone, but it's not where growth happens. Just outside your comfort zone is the learning zone. This is where the magic happens. It's where you're challenged, where you're stretching yourself, and where you're experiencing new things. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also where you learn and grow the most. And then there's the panic zone. This is too much discomfort. Too much stress. It's overwhelming, and it can actually be counterproductive to learning. The key is to find that sweet spot in the learning zone, challenging but not overwhelming. This idea is actually backed by science. The Yerkes-Dodson law shows that there's an optimal level of arousal or stress for performance. Too little, and you're bored and unmotivated. Too much, and you're overwhelmed and anxious. The learning zone is that sweet spot in the middle. Now let's talk about your brain. It's not a fixed, static organ. It's constantly changing and adapting thanks to something called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's incredible ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout your life. And guess what triggers this process? New experiences. When you step outside your comfort zone, when you learn something new, when you challenge yourself, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're building new pathways, strengthening existing ones, and becoming more adaptable and resilient. Studies have shown that engaging in novel and challenging activities can actually increase the volume of gray matter in certain areas of the brain, which is associated with improved cognitive function. Okay, let's talk about stress. We often think of stress as a bad thing, and chronic overwhelming stress is harmful. But moderate levels of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline can actually be beneficial for learning and performance. This is sometimes called eustress or positive stress. When you're in that learning zone, facing a manageable challenge, your body releases these hormones. They increase your alertness, sharpen your focus, and even improve your memory. Think of it like a natural performance enhancer. Your body is preparing you to rise to the occasion. The key is to understand the difference between this helpful short-term stress and the damaging long-term stress that comes from constant anxiety and overwhelm. Now, let's get specific. Discomfort comes in many forms. First up, social discomfort. This is probably the one we're most familiar with. It's the fear of social awkwardness, the fear of judgment, the anxiety that comes with putting yourself out there in social situations. Think public speaking, networking events, meeting new people, asking for help, or even giving someone feedback. These situations can be nerve-wracking, but they're also incredibly important for building relationships, advancing your career, and expanding your social circle. The benefits of overcoming social anxiety far outweigh the temporary discomfort. Next, we have intellectual discomfort. This is the feeling you get when you're stretching your mind, when you're grappling with new ideas, when you're admitting you don't know something. It's the discomfort of learning a new skill, tackling a challenging problem, or engaging in a debate where you have to defend your point of view. Intellectual discomfort is absolutely crucial for intellectual growth. It's how we expand our knowledge, develop our critical thinking skills, and become more adaptable and innovative. It's about embracing a growth mindset and seeing challenges as opportunities to learn, not as threats to our ego. Finally, there's physical discomfort. This is the discomfort of pushing your body, of trying a new workout, of enduring temporary pain for a long-term gain. Think of that burning sensation in your muscles when you're lifting weights, or the feeling of being out of breath during a run. Now, it's crucially important to emphasize that we're talking about safe and intentional physical discomfort. This is not about pushing yourself to injury, but when done safely, physical discomfort can build incredible resilience, discipline, and mental toughness. It teaches you to push through challenges, to tolerate discomfort, and to appreciate the strength and capabilities of your body. Okay, so I've talked about the theory, the science, and the different types of discomfort. Now, it's time to put it all into practice. I decided to embark on a 30-day discomfort challenge. My goal was to do something every single day that pushed me outside my comfort zone. Now, I chose challenges that were specifically tailored to my fears and insecurities. For me, that meant a lot of social challenges because I tend to be a bit introverted. I also threw in some intellectual and physical challenges to mix things up. The rules were simple. Do one uncomfortable thing each day, document the process, and be completely honest about how it felt. So, here's a glimpse into my 30 days of awkwardness. This was day 3, where I had to strike up a conversation with a complete stranger on the bus. You can see how nervous I was. I just blurted out the first thing that came to mind. Here, I'm giving a presentation to a small group, definitely outside my comfort zone, and I intentionally made eye contact with everyone in the room, even though it felt awkward. This one was tough. I had to ask for help on a project, something I usually avoid because I tend to be a people pleaser and take on too much. And this was a complete fail. I tried to say no to a request from a friend to help them move. Even though I was genuinely busy, I felt so guilty that I ended up agreeing anyway, and I completely overbooked myself. But even the failures were valuable lessons. Here I am, feeling pretty proud after completing a successful challenge. I politely declined a social invitation that I wasn't genuinely interested in without making up an elaborate excuse. It felt liberating. And this was a huge breakthrough for me. I was able to prioritize myself. So, what did I learn from 30 days of deliberately seeking out discomfort? Well, first, I learned that I'm a lot more capable than I thought I was. I survived. And not only did I survive, but I actually thrived in some of those uncomfortable situations. Second, I realized that the fear of discomfort is often worse than the discomfort itself. The anticipation is usually the hardest part. Once you actually do the thing, it's often not as bad as you imagined. Third, I learned the power of small steps. Starting with manageable challenges made the whole process much less daunting. And finally, and maybe most importantly, I discovered a newfound sense of confidence and resilience. I know that I can handle awkward situations, that I can push through challenges, and that I can continue to grow and evolve. It was truly a transformative experience. Okay, now it's your turn. Here are some practical tips to help you start embracing awkwardness in your own life. Tip number 1, start small. Don't jump into the deep end right away. Think of it like building a muscle. You wouldn't start by trying to lift the heaviest weight in the gym. You'd start with something manageable and gradually increase the weight over time. It's the same with discomfort. Start with small steps, with manageable challenges. Maybe it's striking up a conversation with the barista at your coffee shop, asking a question in a meeting, or saying hello to a neighbor you don't usually talk to. These small wins will build your confidence and make it easier to tackle bigger challenges later on. Tip number 2, reframe your mindset. This is huge. Instead of viewing discomfort as something to be avoided at all costs, start seeing it as an opportunity for growth. When you feel that familiar twinge of anxiety or awkwardness, try to reframe it as excitement. Tell yourself, this is a chance for me to learn and grow. This is a chance for me to become stronger and more resilient. This is about embracing a growth mindset. The belief that your abilities are not fixed, but that they can be developed through effort and dedication. We're reframing anxiety into fuel. Tip number 3, practice self-compassion. This is so important. You're going to mess up. You're going to have awkward moments. You're going to say the wrong thing. It's inevitable. But instead of beating yourself up about it, practice self-kindness. Treat yourself with the same compassion and understanding that you would offer a good friend. Acknowledge that it's okay to make mistakes, that it's part of the learning process. Quiet that harsh inner critic and remind yourself that you're doing your best. Tip number 4, find an accountability partner. Having someone to support you on this journey can make a huge difference. It could be a friend, a family member, a colleague, or even someone you find online in a supportive community. Share your goals with them, check in with each other regularly, and celebrate your successes together. Having that external support and encouragement can help you stay motivated and on track. And finally, tip number 5, celebrate your wins. No matter how small they may seem, acknowledge and appreciate your progress. Did you strike up a conversation with a stranger? Celebrate it. Did you ask a question in a meeting? Celebrate it. Did you try something new, even if it didn't go perfectly? Celebrate it. These small wins are building your confidence and reinforcing your positive behavior. Give yourself a pat on the back, treat yourself to something you enjoy, or simply take a moment to acknowledge your courage and effort. Positive reinforcement is key. So, what are the long-term benefits of making embracing awkwardness a habit? Well, the first and perhaps most significant benefit is increased resilience. Resilience is your ability to bounce back from setbacks, to adapt to change, and to persevere in the face of adversity. When you regularly step outside your comfort zone, you're essentially training your resilience muscle. You're learning how to cope with discomfort, how to manage your anxiety, and how to keep going even when things get tough. You become more adaptable, more resourceful, and more confident in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. Next up, greater confidence. This one is pretty straightforward. Every time you face your fears, every time you overcome a challenge, every time you step outside your comfort zone and survive, you're building your self-esteem. You're proving to yourself that you're capable, that you're strong, and that you can handle difficult situations. This increased belief in yourself will spill over into all areas of your life, from your relationships to your career to your personal pursuits. Another incredible benefit is expanded opportunities. Think about it. How many opportunities have you missed out on because you were too afraid to step outside your comfort zone? Maybe you didn't apply for that dream job. Maybe you didn't speak up in a meeting. Maybe you didn't introduce yourself to that interesting person at a party. When you embrace discomfort, you open yourself up to a whole new world of possibilities. You're more likely to take risks, to try new things, and to connect with people you might never have met otherwise. This can lead to incredible new experiences, exciting career advancements, and meaningful relationships. And finally, embracing discomfort can actually boost your creativity. When you're constantly exposed to new experiences, new perspectives, and new challenges, you're stimulating your brain in new ways. You're forcing yourself to think outside the box, to come up with innovative solutions, and to see the world from different angles. This can lead to breakthroughs in your work, your art, and your personal life. New experiences fuel new ideas. The bottom line is this: staying in your comfort zone might feel safe and secure, but it's also limiting your potential for growth, resilience, and confidence. Stepping outside that zone, embracing those awkward, uncomfortable moments is where the real magic happens. It's interesting to think about how much of our lives we spend avoiding discomfort and what we might be missing out on as a result. Perhaps the real comfort lies not in avoiding the awkward, but in embracing it.